I became alarmed back in 2019 after I realized I was seeing more kids with gender dysphoria, and every single one I referred to the gender clinic was being transitioned.
We are winning. Hi, everybody. Auntie Speaks. Welcome back. We are winning. All of the stuff that people on the right have been talking about for years, this crazy, crazy stuff, especially the trans stuff with children, it's starting to work. When you have liberals, Democrats, gays and lesbians do a documentary about the dangers of the trans ideology, it means we are winning. So I'm going to show you some clips of this documentary, No Way Back.
One night I remember having a dream that I was a boy. I felt so happy after waking up from that dream. It just felt like I was excited to be alive. And then I got up and went and looked in the mirror, and just that happiness was like crushed. Based on the information that I had, that medical transition is by far the best treatment and that you are at risk for suicide if you don't follow that path, I thought I only really had one path that I could take.
This is Kat. I actually highlighted her on another one of my videos. She is a detransitioner and she is speaking out because she tried to transition back in the 2000s, and it was relatively difficult. There were checks, there were balances, there were people that pushed back. I'm going to show you her story.
Hi, I'm Kat and I'm a detransitioner. When I was 13, I didn't want to be a girl. My body rapidly morphed into something I didn't recognize. Weight gain, growth of my hips and breasts, and stretch marks made me feel like I was wearing a costume I couldn't take off. Boys now ogled my chest or told sex jokes in front of me. Girls I was once friends with ostracized me. Adults made comments about my body and how it had developed. To escape the discomfort, I turned to watching anime and perusing online forums. I also developed an eating disorder, which I continue to struggle with for the next decade. I thought that if my body was slim, strong, and muscular rather than soft and curvy, I would be worthy of respect. My true self was hiding somewhere underneath this disgusting shell. It was around this time that I was first introduced to gender ideology when I came across a website for female to male transgender people. I learned about gender dysphoria, described as the uncomfortable feeling of incongruence between one's biological sex and her gender identity. I know it's a lot of air quotes. I don't have a choice. After reading this, I had an epiphany. Gender dysphoria, that's what I have. Finally, I now knew of a legitimate medical condition that explained why I hated my body so much. I could be a man, and I had been right. My body was the problem. It wasn't aligned with my male brain. And I couldn't be happy until I transformed myself with hormones and surgery. I decided that as soon as I was able to, I would take all the measures necessary to transition. This was back in the early 2000s, so it wasn't so easy. I was not affirmed by my parents, teachers, peers, or my pediatrician. But I never stopped longing for life as a man. If I was a California teenager today, my delusion and self-hatred would have been affirmed. I would have been told that yes, my body was the problem. I would have been offered puberty blockers, which could have led to permanent effects like osteoporosis, stunted brain development, infertility, and lifelong sexual dysfunction.
Yeah, pretty powerful, isn't it? She describes what every young girl goes through. Icky, 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 terrible puberty. I'm sure men don't like puberty that much, but women hate puberty. It is really awful. Okay? And what she says at the end here is pretty darn important. When she tried to transition at 13, people pushed back. If they had not pushed back, she would have gone down the entire road of all the parts being taken away and put back together. I'm going to put a link in the bottom to her entire story. I didn't want to put it all in here. Please go check it out. Let's look at the rest of the new documentary.
I became alarmed back in 2019 after I realized I was seeing more kids with gender dysphoria, and every single one I referred to the gender clinic was being transitioned.
So it's often said that puberty blockers are reversible, but the majority of children who are started on puberty blockers, over 95%, go on to take cross-sex hormones. Puberty blockers cannot be considered a standalone intervention.
If it worked, I'd be very open to it. It's like putting diesel in the petrol tank.
There was a study looking at the Swedish population of those who had transitioned that found that those who had transitioned had suicide rates 19 times higher than population matched controls.
19 times higher for those people after they transitioned. Just want to highlight that. And guys, if you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe and share this. We're winning, but we need to get the information out. So we all need to be brave, and we need to share this with everybody.
Puberty blockers followed by cross-sex hormones. The fact they're being offered outside of clinical trials, despite the fact there's so much unknown about long-term risk, is a scandal in and of itself.
It's up to us on the left to walk this back. I want liberals to make room for gender diversity, and that includes masculine girls and feminine boys, without telling them that they need to leave their sex category because they are different.
Like I said, I have to now live with what I've done.
These doctors and therapists put me through this. They had no reason to, except for the fact that I said it.
Okay, guys. So I think we're winning. When a bunch of liberals get together and do a documentary like this, I think we're winning. And the polls suggest that we are winning. There was a poll that recently came out, and here I'll find it and I'll flash it on the screen, of something like 70% of the population disagree with puberty blockers for children. 70% of the American public. There are 3 or 4 countries, no, it's up to 5 countries now, who have now blocked this practice. Why? Because there is significant evidence that it does more harm than good. The amount of children that you will help, and I'm sure there's 1 or 2 in there somewhere who are truly trans, and then when they become 21, they're going to be perfectly happy in their transition. But when you have 100 children, you can't hurt 90 children to help 10. Okay, guys. So share this, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you on the next one.